Hello, everyone. Welcome. What an amazing morning. It is incredible to see all these people here from the Muscatine Cultural Alliance. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for joining our inaugural Muscatine Cultural Alliance celebration. Today, we'll recognize the work of these groups, their volunteers, board members, supporters, and staff members, people representing 15 different organizations have come together for today's celebration, and we hope this will become an annual gathering. My name is Keith Porter. I have the honor of serving as the Master of Ceremonies today. Through my work as president of the Stanley Center for Peace and Security, I often get to travel quite a bit, travel to places far away. And on so many occasions, I have seen the power of the arts to unify, to mend frayed relations. My family and I, and many others, some of them here, worked with the Muscatine Children and Youth Choir to start a wonderful relationship with a music program in Kosovo, and that relationship was founded on music. We've all had such great experiences here in this community, seeing the Joffrey Ballet at the riverfront, or Lee Park, seeing Ballet Des Moines at the riverfront. I remember so fondly with my family sitting at Wesley United Methodist Church watching Marvin Hamlet play piano as part of the Jackson concert series. That was just an amazing thing. And I couldn't believe I was sitting, in this church in Muscatine watching, one of these world famous musicians right here in this room, hanging out with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. Just an amazing experience and something that I think people don't understand about how amazing this community is and these kinds of experiences that we have. Many of you are aware of the new headquarters building that we built for the Stanley Center at the corner of 3rd and Iowa, renovated the old library. And really, one of the final touches on that was just installed a few weeks ago when we finally got the sidewalk poems outside. And those sidewalk poems are a program facilitated by the Muscatine County Arts Council. So there are just all kinds of ways that the arts have infused our community. Everyone in this room, I'm sure, has stories to tell about a performance, an exhibit, an encounter with the past that has enriched their lives right here in town. Before we start our program, I want to recognize the sponsors who have made today's event possible. Kent Corporation, CDI Bank and Trust, RKJ Incorporated, Bear, Jerry Kent, and Chuck and Kim Swanson. Supporting the event, of course, the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine, their dedicated staff, as well as the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's give them all a round of applause. Unfortunately, our student musicians had to leave. I'm not exactly sure why, because there's no school today, right? But anyway, they didn't want to hang around with us. But I do want to tell you who was here. From the Muscatine High School Chamber Ensemble, Aubrey Mooney, Davian Lopez, Ben Miller, Vania Marmol, Vanessa Ocampa, Carter Wag, AJ Toby, Liberty Smiley, Natalie Clove, and then the directors, Kayla Priest and Guillermo Naharo. Let's give them a round of applause. We're going to kick off our program here with someone who has been a lifelong volunteer in Muscatine and in Muscatine County. I could list a ton of organizations that Jerry has been a part of. Family Services, Muscatine Community Y, the Community Foundation, United Way, National Pearl Button Museum, Muscatine Habitat for Humanity, Muscatine Charities. Jerry Kent retired from CDI Bank and Trust. She currently serves on the Arts Center Board of Trustees, and she holds the title of Executive Support to the Chairman and CEO of Kent Corporation. So please welcome one of Muscatine's gems, Jerry Kent.
Gentlemen, someone just asked me if I really do hold an office at Kent. I really don't. I don't even have a business card. Anyway, welcome and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. On behalf of my family, I would like to express our appreciation for your valuable contributions. Today is a very special day as we're here to recognize all of you. You are a vital part of our community. Let me repeat that. You are a vital part of our community. Each one of the organizations represented here today has accomplished so much, and together we can and we will accomplish so much more. How do we do that? We all come together to work for the greater cause, which is making Muscatine the best it can be. For an example, one could join the civic forum to use your voice to uplift spirits. Become a member of the organization like the Friends of the Pine Creek Grist Mill. Try saying that 3 times fast. Become a member of the National Pearl Button Museum or the Muscatine County Arts Center, Art Council, whose efforts make our community a unique and vibrant place to live, work, and play. You can serve as a board member, helping to guide organizations like the Muscatine Orchestra or the Muscatine Arts Center as they seek out new ways to engage the community. And attend events where we gather as community to enjoy live music and memorable experiences like the Jackson concert series at the Old Barn. Arts can help us improve mind, body, and soul. And together, we in Muscatine can ensure that our local art organizations are active and vibrant. And let's not forget, helping our historic places stay preserved to keep our next generation connected to our past. There are many ways you can be an active supporter for all of our local organizations, and I do hope that at least one of these touched you and you decide that you want to take part. Giving back to our community can be accomplished in big and small ways, like picking up a piece of trash on the side of the road. Give a hand up to that mother who needs a new outfit for that job interview. Give a car ride to that father who needs transportation to take that child to their parent-teacher conference. Provide a meal to a grandparent raising their grandchildren. Make a donation towards a significant project like the new health clinic. And answer the call when asked to volunteer or serve on a nonprofit board. We have proven we have what it takes here in Muscatine to get things done. We all have the responsibility to help our community. In today's world, it is very easy to look the other way. This makes me emotional. We need to focus on our community, focus on our families, and focus on ourselves. I always say, if we don't do it, who's going to? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerry. That was a wonderful call to action for all of us. Next up, we're going to hear from Candace Bark, and she'll be sharing remarks from Mayor Brad Bark. You know Brad, he is the president and CEO of the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce, mayor of the city of Muscatine, and he's made it his mission to shape Muscatine into an even better place to live, work, and play. Candace has degrees in environmental engineering from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville and the University of Iowa. She's been a member of Stanley Consultants for over 15 years, and she and Brad have 3 children and have fond memories of visiting the Art Center and enjoying the children's programs and the art exhibits together. At this time, please let us welcome Candace Bark.
Gentlemen, esteemed guests, and valued members of our community, it is an honor and a privilege to stand before you today on behalf of my husband, the mayor of Muscatine, Iowa, and the president and CEO of the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, particularly at this momentous occasion dedicated to celebrating the outstanding work of our cultural and historical nonprofit organizations. Before I continue, I would like to recognize the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry for being partner with the Muscatine Cultural Alliance. If you are on the GMCCI board as a primary or secondary board of director, an ambassador, a staff member, or committee member, please stand. We could give them a round of applause, please. Today, we gather not only to recognize our nonprofit organization's remarkable contributions, but also to raise awareness and support for these vital institutions that shape the identity of our beloved Muscatine. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Melanie Alexander, the director of the Muscatine Art Center. Your leadership and vision have been instrumental in fostering a vibrant art scene in our community and bringing everyone here today. The Muscatine Art Center stands as a beacon of creativity, inspiring both residents and visitors alike. It is a place where art flourishes, where community engagement thrives, and where the rich tapestry of our cultural heritage is preserved and celebrated. Our Cultural Alliance represents a diverse and passionate network of organizations that enrich our lives in countless ways. From the Muscatine County Arts Council that champions local artists and poets in the County of Muscatine, to the Muscatine Symphony Orchestra, the Jackson Concert Series, and the Muscatine Civic Chorale, who bring a gift of music to our community. Each organization plays a crucial role in enhancing the quality of life here in Muscatine. Let us not forget the Friends of the Old Barn, Friends of the Old Stone Church, Friends of the Fairport Fish Hatchery, and the Friends of the Pine Creek Gristmill, whose volunteers work tirelessly to preserve our historical landmarks, helping us to remember our past and providing unique settings for us to create new memories and experiences. Thank you to the Pearl City Players who entertain and inspire us through the magic of theater. Let's also remember the Friends of the Musser Public Library and Friends of the Muscatine Art Center for ensuring that every resident has access to knowledge and to engaging programs for learners at every age. The Muscatine County Conservation and the Public Art Advisory Commission, working to enhance our surroundings, reminds us to be creative and to enjoy the beauty found in our community. Lastly, we must acknowledge the Muscatine History and Industry Center and the National Pearl Button Museum, custodians of our unique history. The museum staff and the volunteers ensure that future generations understand and appreciate the stories that have shaped Muscatine. Today's luncheon is not just a fundraiser, it is a celebration of our community's spirit. It is a reminder that when we invest in our cultural and historical nonprofits, we are investing in the heart and soul of Muscatine. We are ensuring that arts, history, and creativity continue to thrive, enriching our lives and fostering a sense of belonging. I encourage each of you to support these organizations in any way you can, whether through volunteering, attending events, or contributing financially. Together, we can continue to cultivate a vibrant, inclusive, and culturally rich Muscatine for generations to come. Thank you all for being here today and for your unwavering commitment to our community's cultural heritage. Let us continue to champion the work of these incredible organizations and celebrate the beauty they bring to our lives. Thank you.
It's so important for Candace to remind us that we spend a lot of time in this community talking about economic development. You know, and I'm on the Community Foundation Board of Trustees at Muscatine Power and Water. Those organizations, along with so many other organizations in this community, talk about economic development all the time. We talk about education, housing, and healthcare. And we've made progress, real progress in all of those things. But we're competing against other communities who are using the same metrics as we are. The arts, culture, this is the place where we really distinguish ourselves. These are the things that bring us together. These are the things that make a community a community. They give us those opportunities to come out and see each other and enrich our own lives. So it's wonderful to have so many people here who understand and are deeply involved in the economic development of this community and understand the power of the arts to make a community very special. When Melanie asked me if I would MC this event today, I was, of course, happy to say yes, but I was even more convinced and excited when I saw who would be our keynote speaker today. Chuck Swanson is the former director of University of Iowa's Hancher Auditorium, and he's also a great friend to Muscatine. Chuck and Kim Swanson were longtime great friends of Dick and Mary Jo Stanley. Chuck has been the great ambassador of Iowa and a great welcomer of the world to Iowa through his role at Hancher. And if you don't already know, our community of Muscatine has Chuck to thank for so many memorable experiences. Please welcome my friend, Chuck Swanson.
A beautiful introduction, so kind. I really appreciate it. So I am so proud to be here today and so happy to be here. A beautiful view of the Mississippi River in this elegant, wonderful Merrill Hotel, speaking to an esteemed group of people, and I think this is right, in the one and only Muscatine in the world. Am I right about that?
Yes.
I don't think it gets any better than we do. How about applauding you still? So big thank you to my dear friend, Melanie Alexander, and her whole committee for putting this together and for inviting me to come. I've worked with Melanie often, and I got to tell you, Melanie delivers. She's here to change the world. And as he said, Mary Jo Stanley, and Dick too, but Mary Jo and I used to talk on the phone often. And Mary Jo once called me and she said, Chuck, you've got to get there and meet that new director of the Art Museum. She's terrific. And you know, we always knew that Mary Jo was right. So thanks, Melanie. I'd like to introduce my family. Some of my family's here, and a friend. And so first of all, my wife, Kim, who Keith mentioned, she loves Muscatine too. And then our third and youngest daughter, Lori Johnson, is here with her husband, Jared Johnson. Jared is a pediatric dentist here in town, and they own Arctic Dental. And then there's Lydia, that is a third grader at St. Mary's. And Will, I think, eighth grade? No. First grade at St. Mary's. And then little Teddy, who keeps us all in line. And then next to Jared is Jared's folks, his parents, who we're so proud to have here today. Bill and Georgia Johnson, they're retired faculty members at the College of Dentistry. And then a good friend of Lori and Jared's, but also a good friend of ours, Erica Hoops, from the community. And then I want to shout out to my friends from CBI. I know you're working hard today. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. So, Katie, the first slide. Go ahead. A great ride in the arts do make a difference. So I retired from Hampshire two and a half years ago. I was there almost 40 years, and I have to say it was a labor of love. I loved that job so much. I used to tell people that it was one of the best jobs on campus. But then, lately I've been thinking that I never did meet Caitlin Clark. So I'm not sure it was that great a job. But I was very fortunate to be on the team that designed and built and then opened the New Hampshire. And what a ride that was. That was a once in a lifetime experience. So people ask me, what do I miss? What do I miss the most about, not being at Hampshire? And I would say the people, for sure. I love people, as Will knows. I enjoy people a lot. And I enjoy artists. I enjoy taking artists into classrooms, working with students and working with faculty to enrich that educational experience of students. And I also enjoy bringing artists into communities like Muscatine, making a difference in those communities. So why the arts? Why is the Cultural Alliance so important here in Muscatine? So art removes barriers. Art gives us a chance to have a common experience, and then we can talk about it. We can sit across the table and say, what'd you think of that? Art also shows empathy. Art helps us think about other people. Art helps us put our shoes into other people's shoes and really celebrate our differences. And Keith, you mentioned this, economic activity. Main Street thrives when you have a vibrant arts community. You have the arts in a community and people want to move to that community. Art helps us collaborate and work together. The Cultural Alliance, they're so proud of Muscatine, and they bring so many people together to celebrate Muscatine. In a quality of life, art helps to create a quality of life. It helps to create memories that last a lifetime. You can't put a price tag on that. So Kim and I just returned from out east. We took a trip to DC just to experience right before, I shouldn't even bring it up, the election. And so one stop was at Lexington, Virginia, and we stopped and spent some time at Washington and Lee University. And I just enjoyed reading the quotes from George Washington, the father of our country. So here's a quote that I read. To promote literature in this rising empire and to encourage the arts have been the warmest wishes of my heart. He also spoke about unifying diverse communities and preparing us all to live in harmony. The arts do make a difference. So that was over 200 years ago, and guess what? We're still talking about the arts. So today I want to go down memory lane. Keith mentioned this, that when I worked at Hampshire, we brought a lot of great things here. And so I have a list that I'm going to go through. But before that, I want to just say that I love projects. I love big projects, projects that make a difference. And so one of my favorite things was to come to Muscatine, because Muscatine delivers. They roll out the red carpet. I would go to meetings here, and I would always bring a pen, and not a paper, but a tablet, because I knew you'd have to take a lot of notes. And I knew around that table would be a lot of people that wanted to be involved. So one thing about the arts too, I mean, you think about your own work, whether it's at a church, or work at your business or whatever, when you have a meeting, it's usually just your own little group. When it's the arts, it's the entire community. Everybody comes together. Isn't that right, Melanie? So this is not all inclusive, but I just want to read through a list of the organizations that I finally remember that I work in. The schools, the symphony, the city, the Musser Public Library, the Muscatine Arts Center, the Stanley Center for Peace and Security, the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Muscatine Community Wide, Muscatine Center for Social Action, the Friends of the Old Barn, and lots of individuals. And I have to say, I don't want to tear up, but I still feel the presence of our dear friends, Dick and Mary Jo, standing every time I come to Muscatine. And that's all. And many more. Like I said, that list is not all inclusive. So, as I said, I took this inventory. And what I want to do is I want to go through, and I'll try to go through this fairly quickly, some of these big projects. And some of you were there. You mentioned Weed Park. But many of you were not. But what I'm hoping is that talking about these projects might spark a little creativity in your minds. And you might think, we could do something similar down the road. So first of all, this was in 2007. There we are, the Joffrey and Weed Park. That was amazing. I know Karen Dix isn't with us today, but she would always tell me, Chuck, this was the most wonderful thing that ever came to Muscatine. How many of you were like, oh, wow, great. I don't even have to talk about it. That was incredible. That was Hampshire's biggest, and I think in the history and even down the road, that would be the biggest thing that we've ever done. And we were so naive. We wouldn't know the work and the money that was involved in that. I'm not sure we would have tackled it. I'm sure glad we were green. So this was a gift to the state. It was Hampshire's 35th anniversary gift to the state. And we chose 5 communities. It was Des Moines, Council Bluffs, Muscatine, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City, river to river. And this was a gift to the state. 5 free outdoor performances. It sounds simple, but the big Joffrey Ballet, a big stage, setting that stage up 5 times, striking it 5 times. We had 12 semi-sized vehicles and entourage that went from city to city. And of course, Dick and Mary Jo were my first contacts, and they connected me with Gary Carlson, which I'm sure you all know Gary. And Gary was kind of our lead in Muscatine, but Miss Louise was so helpful too. She knew all about dancers, and she found all the stuff that we needed for the amenities for the dancers. But we wanted it, I wanted it at Riverfront Park. And then I heard about the riverboats. And everybody said, you don't want to do this in the summer with all the riverboats. That's dangerous to the dancers and not good for the audience. So that load in, where's Cheryl? Cheryl's here, I know. Oh, there she is. That load in Weed Park was amazing. We go in there with 12 semi-sized vehicles. And who's there to greet us? It's your mom. She had the biggest smile. She had her big heels on. But Shirley was the hostess with the mostest. She said to me, if there's anything you need, and I thought, well, Shirley, I don't know if you could help us with ice and garbage and all this stuff. But she was there. Her spirit was there. And I think we ended up having 4,000 to 5,000 people in that park. And what I loved about it more than anything is people were counting the license plates from the Davenport Quad City area. And the only thing I would have changed about that, where's my friend Sarah? Sarah and Roger hosted a party afterwards. It was a beautiful party in their beautiful home. And Kim and I left too early. We stayed to clean up before Roger broke his shoulder. And I always felt so guilty about that. But that was an amazing event. It was really, really fun. So then Ballet West was in 2010. And this was a smaller version. It was a Joffrey program, but it wasn't quite the Joffrey event. And what I remember about that, of course, this was in Riverfront Park, when those lights came on the bridge. everybody, I could tell in their hearts, were thinking, I'm so proud to be from Muscatine. Those lights, I'm a lighting person anyway. Those lights were so unifying. People were so happy about it. And then there's a basketball court there. And I'll never forget, these boys were playing basketball. They were there at the very start of the day. They were there for the rehearsal. And then they broke up too when the dancers broke up. And they just kept playing basketball when they were rehearsing. And I just thought, oh, come on, guys, just watch it just a little bit. But then at night when that music started and those lights came on, those boys dropped that basketball and they started to dance like the dancers. And I thought, yes, that's great. Then in 2013, we did, this was a multi-layered project, Living with Floods. This started at the university. Hancher hadn't done anything yet with the College of Engineering, and we wanted to. So went over there, met with them, and before we knew it, we came up with a project to commemorate the 5-year anniversary of the flood, the 2008 flood. So there were several departments at the university. We think about this engineering, Hancher, there was the State Hygienic Lab, the Iowa Institute of Hydraulic Research, which included the Iowa Flood Center, and then the College of Education. They would show 7 communities across the state. And of course, Muscatine was one of them. And this was all centered around music, because it was going to culminate after a year-long project with Hancher bringing Perez Hall, which Keith mentioned, for free outdoor performances at every one of those 7 communities. So it gave the university a chance to go to every community and talk about the Iowa Flood Center. And the part of it that I really liked the most is the educational part for the high schools, is we invited high school teachers, history teachers, geography teachers, music teachers to come to the university for a weekend. And they worked with the College of Ed faculty and with the engineering faculty to create flood-related curricula that they would roll out to the students. And I'll never forget those music teachers from my high school. They looked at me and they said, you know, we've never worked with history teachers. We've never worked with geography teachers. In this project, that made it happen. So it ended up being a very successful project. And the crazy thing about it is the concert here was in Riverfront Park. And guess what? It flooded again. And so we had to keep on moving from that red building further and further. And I'll never, to the west. And I'll never forget the smiles again on Dick and Mary Jo's faces. They got a kick out of it. I mean, they weren't happy about the flood, but this related so much to what had actually happened. And then the best part, one of the best parts, is Perez Hall then shared their Katrina stories with our Iowa flood stories. So there again, music kind of made that happen. Then Hancher was built from 2013 to 2016, and we had a piece of art called We All Perform that was done by students across the state, 7th graders. And Muscatine, of course, was a part of this. You think about this, it was Council Bluffs, Storm Lake, Algona, Spencer, Muscatine, Maquoketa, and Iowa City. And when Hancher opened, first of all, we hired a professor at the university, Anita Judd, who commissioned her to do this piece of art. It included selfies of the students, and then the students wrote within their trace selfies what performance meant to them. Then the teacher chose several of these selfies, and then Anita Jung, the professor, put this together, and she had a blueprint of Hancher throughout the entire piece. There were 7 panels, and then each community had a map of the community. And I remember when Hancher opened, I'd love to be over there. It's in front of the Strauss Rehearsal Hall, because I heard people from Muscatine say, that kid, he checks me out at the Hy-Vee. Or that's my neighbor. I even heard somebody say, that's my son. But the title of that piece is We All Perform. And it taught students so much about self-esteem, so much about working together, so much about collaboration. So I just have a quick little story, a side story that I want to share about that piece. So what we did is Anita and I went around to all the communities, all 7 communities, to roll this out. We had to go to all these 7th graders and talk to the art teacher and then talk to the students. So I started off just by talking about Hancher, and then Anita talked about the art piece. And then the work came later then to Anita from the teachers. So we started off in Southeast Junior High. Rachel Arnone was the art teacher. She's just great. I really think Rachel's fabulous. So I was talking about Hancher, and I should give a little history here. When Hancher was first built, I don't know how many of you know this, but 3 of the workers died immediately. Scaffolding broke, and you heard about that, you knew about that. And that was such a historical part of Hancher. We really reflected on that when we built the new hall. So we're in the 7th grade Southeast Junior High classroom, and I'm talking about Hancher. And there's somebody in the back of the classroom. And I knew she wasn't a student. I knew she wasn't Rachel, the teacher, but she was, I figured, maybe a art substitute teacher, not the assistant teacher. So when I talked about Hancher, she seemed a little disturbed. I don't know, I just like I had said something wrong. So when the bell rang, I went up to her right away and I just said, you know, we're launching this. We're going to take this to 6 more communities. Tell me, what did I say wrong? And she looked at me and she started crying. And she said, Chuck, my dad was one of the workers that died when Hancher was built. And then I hugged her and I cried. And she said to me, she goes, you know what? That's the sign that this is going to be a successful project. And there again, that's empathy, that's talking, that's art, that just helps people really understand and bring out emotions and make you feel real. So 2018, we did a project called Follow the Music, and Keith and Melanie were both a big part of this. We celebrated Dick and Mary Jo, and we had local musicians, we had some exhibits at the Stanley Foundation, and it was really a great community event. And then in 2020, some fish appeared in front of Hancher. And how many of you seen the fish? Okay. So one of those fish is named after kids that chose a name in 3rd grade in Muscatine. I think it's at the Grant Elementary School. And so what happened is these fish were hand carved in China. The artist is an artist from Santa Fe, Colette Hosmer. And it's just, the whole project just made us think we got to get kids involved in this, and that's the way to learn. And so what we did is we had 300 3rd graders from around the state name these fish, these 40 fish. Then we had them write about the fish. And how many of you know Allison Means? I'm not sure. I think that's her. She's from Muscatine. She grew up in Muscatine. That's her married name. I should have found her maiden name. But she works at University Press. And we had a book published about these fish. And during this whole process, I don't know how many of you have published a book, but it's a tough go of it. It's really hard to do. She helped me. And by the time we were done, I said, where are you from, Allison? Muscatine. I should have known, I should have known. So then in 2021, we did a project that was with Des Moines Ballet, and it was Dance in the Spring, and there was a lot of STEM work associated with that. And then in 2021, Melanie and I talked often, and she told me about this beautiful piece of sculpture, Expressive Spirit, artist David Zahn, in memory of Mary Jo. And so I said, this just reeks of Hancher. We got to be a part of this. This project has to have, I talk about the ribbon cutting. And so we ended up bringing Step Africa, because Mary Jo loved dance, and Mary Jo loved international dance. And this is the first company to ever bring stepping to the world. And first of all, the art piece is just beautiful, and it was worth, a special celebration. But we had another glorious day. Remember how beautiful they made us? It was glorious. So Step Africa performed on the stage that was to the south. Is that right? Of the piece? Yeah. But there's so much. I don't know if anybody have seen step dancing before, but in addition to stepping, there's a lot of body percussion and there's a lot of gestures. And so we were on our trip out east. I read that African Americans tell so much through their gestures and through their body percussion. And that day, those gestures were so vibrant and so confident. And to me, they were showing their love and their respect for Mary Jo and the community. So finally, one more, and I missed a lot of it, but this is another project. Terrence Simeon. And I got to meet a new friend who's a friend of the old barn. Where are you? We talked before. I can't remember. Yes, there you are. And you said you got to meet Terrence. It wasn't that special. So Terrence really taught us a lot when he was here about that part of the country where he comes from. Taught us so much about Zydeco, not just about music, but about the culture, the history, the food. I know he spent time in the library too. So all of this sharing just reminds me of Jim Young Kim, who you all know. He's talked so many times about how Muscatine really gave him such a foundation. The work that he does today, and he does big work, is based so much on the knowledge that he gained growing up here in Muscatine. So I just can't help but mention him because the future, and I'm thinking of those three little ones there, Kim and I have an investment. I want them to be able to have the same background, the same experiences that Jim Young Kim had, and maybe they'll end up staying in Muscatine. Who knows? But to me, that's what it's all about. Keith talked about it. Jerry talked about it. Our mayor talked about it. Our mayor's wife talked about it. And to me, it's so important because the arts, that's where it sticks. Kim and I, as I said, went out to DC and we spent, time in Washington, DC touring, like the White House and other things. And we were lucky on Friday, we got to go through the White House in East Portico. We went there with our kids from Pittsburgh. And on Fridays, they have a military band playing music as you're entering the White House. And our little Sophie, another little granddaughter, was leading the way to East Portico. And they were playing, the military band was playing Amazing Grace. And years from now, I'm not going to remember much of that trip. I hope years from now I'm still here. But what I'm going to remember, of course, is little Sophie leading the way. But I'm going to remember that music. And I think about Biden's inauguration. I'm just bringing this up. Amanda Gorman. The arts stick. The arts stay with you. So, again, the arts, they can imprint on our lives, creating memories that last a lifetime. As I said before, you can't put a price tag on that. So let's start creating even more of those memories. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
So we want this to be an annual event, and I think one of the many things that's going to make this event special is that today we're going to hear about the Shirley Jean Drake Great Initiative Award. It always goes to a very special volunteer in our community. One of the things that we do so well in this community is use our resources to recognize people who make this community better all the time. If you didn't meet Shirley Jean Drake, you should know that she was also a true gem of Muscatine, a true believer in the greatness of Muscatine, and the ultimate volunteer and supporter. And she was honored as a recipient of this very award, the Great Initiative Award. So here to announce the award for this year's winner is Rebecca Hardin-Jones, Program Manager of the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine. Rebecca, please come forward. Thanks to you and to the team at the Community Foundation for overseeing the selection process for the Shirley Jean Drake Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like he said, my name is Rebecca Hardin-Jones, and I'm the Programs Manager at the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine. So I want to start by thanking everyone who contributed to making this event a success. It's an honor to be here with you today as we celebrate our shared love for arts, culture, and history, while also recognizing those whose contributions have shaped Muscatine's creative and cultural landscapes. So today I have the privilege of presenting two awards, the Shirley Jean Drake Great Initiative Award and the Tom Hendricks Community Service Award. These awards are given in the spirit of honoring excellence and dedication in our community. So with that, it's now my pleasure to introduce one of today's honorees, David Ailes. David, could you please make your way up to the stage? Surprise. You have been selected to receive the 2024 Shirley Jean Drake Great Initiative Award, an award established in 2010 to recognize volunteers who go above and beyond to improve the quality of life in Muscatine County. David, your commitment to Muscatine's cultural life truly embodies the spirit of this award. You have not only brought joy to our community, but you've also fostered a sense of unity by bringing people together through events you've spearheaded, including the beloved Eagles and Ivories Ragtime Festival and numerous other cultural initiatives. Over 30 years ago, you proposed the idea of a ragtime festival, and since then, you have served actively on the Muscatine County Arts Council, leading and sustaining these impactful programs. What started as a one-day concert has blossomed into the Eagles and Ivories Festival, a multi-day, multi-venue event that draws musicians and audiences from around the world. Through this festival, we've introduced Muscatine to a diverse array of musical talent, engaging people of all ages, fostering local pride, and contributing significantly to our area's tourism. Additionally, your collaborations with schools, retirement homes, and conservation boards ensure that these events remain accessible, inclusive, and educational. You have demonstrated that the arts can bring people together and connect us with our community and our environment. David, you truly embody the qualities of the inaugural recipient, Shirley Jean Drake, always ethical, cheerful, and inspirational, a leader of great initiatives. On behalf of the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine, it is our pleasure to present you with the 2024 Shirley Jean Drake Great Initiative Award. Not just in recognition of your achievements, but as a heartfelt thank you for all you've done for our community. This award includes a $1,500 stipend to be directed to your charitable cause of choice. David, thank you for making our community a richer and more vibrant place to live. Congratulations. All right. Congratulations. Our next award goes to an outstanding organization whose dedication to preserving Muscatine's unique, natural, and historical resources has left a lasting impact on our community. Will the members of the Friends of the Fairport Fish Hatchery please make their way to the stage?
Yeah, I could figure out how to get
It is my honor to present you with the 2024 Tom Hendricks Community Service Award. This award, named for Tom Hendricks, a beloved figure in Muscatine, known for his extraordinary volunteer service, recognizes a nonprofit organization that has implemented initiatives to address critical needs and enhance the quality of life in Muscatine County. Tom's legacy of service, leadership, and community support is what we celebrate through this award, and today's recipient exemplifies his spirit in every way. Founded just 3 years ago, this volunteer-led group has made incredible strides in educating the public about our region's history, wildlife, and conservation. Through the creation of the interpretive trail system and the new education pavilion, the Friends of Fairport Fish Hatchery have transformed the historic Fairport site into an engaging outdoor classroom. The trails they have created offer opportunities for physical activity, connect visitors to the natural beauty of our area, and inspire future generations to value ecological stewardship. Thanks to their efforts, visitors can explore interpretive signage, video stories, trail maps, and a pedestrian bridge built using reclaimed materials from the original 1914 pump house. The Friends of the Fairport Fish Hatchery truly embody the values of the Tom Hendricks Community Service Award, not only in their mission, but in their dedication to community involvement. With the help of hundreds of volunteers, including local students and community members, they have put countless of hours into these projects, raising over $100,000 to support their vision. In partnership with Tom Hendricks and Muscatine Charities, the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine is pleased to present the 2024 Tom Hendricks Community Service Award to the Friends of the Fairport Fish Hatchery for their inspiring dedication and impactful educational programs. This award comes with an $8,000 grant to further support your work, preserving our local heritage and natural resources for future generations. So congratulations, and thank you for making a positive impact on our community. We are honored to continue Tom's legacy through the exceptional work of this organization. Thank you.
Congratulations again to our winners. That is very exciting. I need to remind you that our silent auction is still open. How much time do we have left?
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. As we wrap up this afternoon, I want to thank all of you for supporting the Muscatine Cultural Alliance. Thank you to Jerry Kent and Candace Park. Thanks to Mayor Bark. Thanks to Chuck Swanson for your memorable words. Thank you so much, Chuck. Thanks again to our sponsors, Kent Corporation, CDI Bank and Trust, RKJ Incorporated, Bear, Jerry Kent, Chuck and Kim Swanson. Thanks also to the Merrill Hotel and its fantastic team. Just a few announcements. You have some printed material at your table. Please share that information with your friends, family members, and neighbors. There are always big and small ways that we can help out our community, that we can help out the cultural groups here for the benefit of the Muscatine community. Please consider joining a board, volunteering your time, attending an event, becoming a member. These are all things you can do to help these organizations thrive. It's also time to check your bids. There are many wonderful items here at the silent auction on both sides of the room. We have, like I said, about 10 minutes left in the silent auction. Just enough time to make sure that you still have the top bid. The silent auction checkout table is the location where you registered coming in. I know we've packed a lot into this long lunch. If you need to leave, you will be contacted if you're the top bid, so don't worry about that. Somebody will let you know. But I do hope you'll stick around and we'll figure out who got those top bids. And please stick around. Enjoy the company of a bunch of people in Muscatine who are real believers in the arts, who are believers in history and culture, and who are always working to make Muscatine better. Thank you all very much for being here.